On the PlayStation 2, platforming games were extremely popular, and Sony had 3 of the best platformers for the console: Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, and, of course, Ratchet Clank, a series that is still going relatively strong today. In 2009, Sony revealed the PlayStation Move, their take on motion gaming for use with the PlayStation 3. When more was revealed at E3 2010, one game in development was called Heroes on the Move, and what made this special was that it featured Ratchet & Clank, Sly Cooper, and Jak and Daxter all together in one game. No more special appearances, no more Easter eggs, the characters would be meeting each other for the very first time. By the time the game came out in 2011, it was renamed to PlayStation Move Heroes. This was developed by Nihilistic Software, who had a track record of releasing average to decent games including Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects, 2007's Conan, Resistance Burning Skies, and their worst rated game, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. But finally, the dreams of so many fans were coming true. Though PlayStation Move Heroes may not have been the game people were imagining, from a business standpoint it makes sense. These are 3 well-known and iconic PlayStation franchises. People know who they are, so it's easy to market. Wrap them into a product where people have to buy a PlayStation Move just to play, and just maybe, those fans will do it. PlayStation Move Heroes is a mixed bag kind of game. As far as PlayStation Move games go, it's pretty decent in what it does. It just all depends on the game type you're playing. But first, we have to talk about the story, which for a major crossover like this is most important. It starts with each of our heroes in their respective worlds. All 3 are in the midst of something important. Ratchet and Clank are in battle, Jak and Daxter are dealing with an uncontrollable vehicle, and conveniently, Sly and Bentley are trying to break Murray out of jail, which explains why he isn't part of the game. Then they're all transported to this strange planet, and once they meet, it's exciting to see them all on the same screen. Watching them talk to one another, their personalities clashing or getting along, but it never feels as engaging as it should be. Then it all just goes downhill from here. We're introduced to the aliens known as Lunk and Gleeber, the worst and honestly the lamest characters in the history of all 3 game series. It's here where they put our heroes through a number of challenges to decide on who is the best hero. Though we soon discover that the aliens are the bad guys, have a ridiculous plan, and the innocent Wibbles we're always saving are forced to build a giant weapon. So like any heroic story, our heroes have to save the day and save the world by stopping their evil plans. Sadly, the story for PlayStation Move Heroes is forgettable, boring, and ultimately very lazy. This story feels like an afterthought, a simple way for the developers to give the characters some reason to be there, and to string the levels together. It's probably asking a lot for a game that was made for a gimmick, but this was a big deal. Players deserved a better story and definitely a better antagonist. Thankfully, it all gets better when it comes to the gameplay. It's not perfect, there are issues, it is motion gaming after all, and it does become repetitive. But the game does a decent job at giving you different types of gameplay to keep you entertained, for the most part. There are 4 worlds to play in, 3 being based on each hero: Ratchet & Clank's Metropolis, Jak and Daxter's Haven City, and Sly Cooper's Paris, France. A majority of these will be recognizable. To wrap everything up, Gleebertopia acts as the finale and holds more of a challenge. Surprisingly, in one of these levels there is a subway. Yes, that kind of subway. If you go to the Paris levels, click on Neighborhood, and then the challenge Play Hard, Eat Fresh. Right in the center of that level is a Subway restaurant. On any other level in the neighborhood location, it's a basic cafe. But here we have a giant Subway sign, it's decorated with posters to advertise their products, and even the inside of the restaurant is decorated like a Subway. This is at least in the North American version of the game. I also own the Japanese release and Subway isn't in it. Go to the same level on this version and there's no Subway references. During this time, Sony had multiple deals with Subway for PlayStation. A Subway restaurant appeared in Infamous 2. For Uncharted 3, you could gain early access to the multiplayer and Subway-themed items for your character. and there were many giveaways to win PlayStation products. So if you came across this in-game and didn't know the backstory, it's odd to see. Just this random subway in Paris. But when it comes to levels, the game gives both the main heroes and the sidekicks equal screen time, and you'll get to choose who you want to play as. It ultimately doesn't matter who you pick. The only difference are their special abilities. Collect enough crystals and Clank gains support by the Sony. Sly Cooper can slow down time, Ratchet throws his Groovatron, and enemies dance. Each hero has a special that makes sense for who they are. Characters have different outfits that can be unlocked by finding hidden collectibles throughout each level. Many are recognizable from past games. Some of my favorites being Jack's outfit from Jak X, Ratchet's prisoner outfit from Secret Agent Clank, and Clank's Carmen Miranda outfit. There were also DLC outfits, a new outfit for each character. It was a pre-order bonus that was later released on the PlayStation Store, but for the longest time, in North America at least, these outfits aren't there. When it comes to the gameplay itself, the move is used in a number of ways. Typically, levels consist of defeating enough enemies and finding, freeing, or protecting enough Wibbles to get that shiny gold medal. Melee and whip levels aren't the worst, but they do feel clunky, maybe janky at times. Really, you'll just be swinging your arm like crazy just to make some hits. Whipping enemies is sometimes satisfying, but melee attacks are very repetitive. At least when there are too many enemies, you can activate a shield that bounces enemies back, giving you time to plan your next hit. By far, the easiest levels in the game are the projectile shooting ones. This is super simple thanks to the Move controller. You can blast enemies away with no problem. Just make sure you don't overheat the gun. When it comes to the disc and bowling levels, I found them surprisingly enjoyable. Yes, these can be very frustrating, and sometimes it's the Move at its worst. But with some practice, they probably offer the most challenge. Not entirely user-friendly from the start, but fun once you get a hang of it. With the aid of a hero's special ability, it can make these disc and bowling levels a breeze to play through. There are still obstacles in the way, but it makes reaching certain goals less complicated. What's cool is that 2 players can play this game. But with that said, it's not as cool as having 2 characters on screen. Instead, one character is doing the action, and the second player can help aid them by shooting enemies, giving out health and crystals to power their special ability. This makes the game way easy, and almost cheats the system. My partner was easily able to shoot enemies I wasn't able to reach yet, but this came in handy when I was going for the Platinum Trophy. I had difficulty on a level trying to protect 3 Wibble cages, and I just couldn't get that needed gold medal no matter how many times I tried. Pop on a second player and there was no struggle. Even if it makes the game easier, it also made it more enjoyable just by having that other person to enjoy it with. So if you're struggling or want a fun experience, try it with 2 players. PlayStation Move heroes deserve better. To have all these characters in one game, to have the voice actors return, it's incredible. It's any fan's dream. But this wasn't the way to do it. To have it as a PlayStation Move game wasn't the best introduction. The story is lacking and feels extremely barren, the main enemies are a giant joke, and even the heroes know this. It's not the ultimate mashup we all wanted. We don't even get to see these characters fighting side by side. Even if this game isn't canon to any of the other games, this could have been the perfect opportunity to be adventurous. Put these heroes in situations they might not have been in before, and then maybe end it with everyone thinking it was a fever dream. There are better games to play for the PlayStation Move. PlayStation Move Heroes really isn't a standout title. It's decent to play through once and there is some enjoyment, but for many diehard fans, PlayStation Move Heroes is a tough pill to swallow. It's awesome to see these characters in a brand new story, just that story needs some serious love and attention. Even something like PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale did the whole mashup thing a lot better, but that's a video for another time. Let me know your thoughts on PlayStation Move Heroes in the comments below. Was this the greatest mashup of all time, or was it vastly disappointing? Despite its flaws, PlayStation Move Heroes is on my list of must-play games for the PlayStation Move, so be sure to check out that video. Like, share, and subscribe for future content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.